Hey, this is Matthew Riddle, the King of Bros, and you're watching the BWF podcast.
Hello, wrestling fans. It is that time again of the show where we go through the chronicles, where we relive the storylines, pay-per-views, and matches that shaped our childhoods. And this week, in our Halloween episode, we are doing Halloween Havic 1998. I am the Ultimate Bish, and we are joined here by Stone Cold G. Patrick Condon, Canada's favorite media personality.
That's right. What? Yes, I decided, I went out, purchased a bald cap for my head, and then designed the costume here. Is his famous Austin 316, and maybe depending on how my voice goes throughout this, maybe I'll start talking like him a little bit. We'll see. How about you? Can you do a Ultimate Warrior impression?
Hulk Hogan. That's my best.
Good. That's all you need.
And
right.
Folks, of course, if you enjoy the content you are watching, head over to our Patreon page where you can catch all of our weekly episodes in full, in their entirety. And there's all kinds of cool and crazy wrestling-related stuff you cannot see anywhere else. But all that being said, this week, of course, is Halloween Havic 1998. Patrick, do you have any memories of this pay-per-view before we dig into wrestling's most terrifying event?
In 98, yes. I mean, it was, as I'm sure we will get into, this was probably the last time that WCW was a draw for me. And it was bringing in the Ultimate Warrior. It was surreal to see him in WCW. I know that his One Warrior Nation stuff was not well received. I thought that it was clever. It's NWO, but backwards. If you do it there. Nation. Pretty good. And so I was a big fan. I was not a smart mark at that point, so it wasn't obvious to me that this was all being done to massage Hulk Hogan's ego so that he get his win back from WrestleMania 6. So I was enjoying the ride.
Yeah, and they had some pretty cool stuff, in storylines such as Warrior coming out and teasing a tag team match with Sting to go against Hogan and Brett. History, like they grew up together, not grew up together, but they trained together. They're trained by the same person. They broke into the business together. So that would have been really cool to see. They only teased it. Didn't actually happen. But, some other cool stuff that was, or not, but some other stuff that we saw that was not as cool. Probably some hokey, corny stuff like Warrior showing up in the mirror with Hogan. Do you remember that? Like Hogan was the only one that could see Warrior, and everybody else was like, what's going on?
Well, now look, I mean, why does this get criticism, but yet Randy Orton had a similar experience with The Undertaker years down the line, and that doesn't get the same. Yeah, I liked it. I didn't have a problem with it at the time. It was, and now maybe you just didn't get it. Maybe the people at home just didn't get it. But what this segment was trying to show was that the Ultimate Warrior was getting into the head of Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
And do you think...
Where's my applause? Where's my applause for that?
Do you think they did a good job? Do you think it was effective? No.
Sorry, in what sense? Like in terms of building anticipation for the match?
That and do you think the fans got it? Like as you just said, it probably went over everybody's head, right? And,
I don't know. I mean, I was being a little sarcastic there. I thought it was fairly obvious what they were trying to lay down. But at the time, I was a 15-year-old kid, so maybe Maybe I did think that it was another layer, layers upon layers. But you want to talk about how everybody nowadays says that stuff is pure cinema, right? That all these things that are happening in wrestling are pure cinema. That's pure cinema. All right? Because it can only happen in a cinematic landscape. The Bloodline storyline is not cinema. It's theater. If you want to be real about it, because it can happen on a stage. Ultimate Warrior showing up in some sort of weird world where Hogan is the only one that can see him in the mirror, and it freaks him out. Cinema, baby. Applause.
There we go.
The real applause.
I want the fake applause.
I'm taking back these damned effects soon, because I'm not going to have my own sound effects go against me going to business for it. So, yes, thank you. Okay. Please, Aaron, go ahead.
Oh, my. All right. So, to open up the pay-per-view, we get a colorful opening video filled with opera singing. The image of the Warrior rises from the bottom of the screen while Hogan looks shocked, as we just saw. Then we see clips of Warrior's antics, including the infamous mirror appearance. A stylish spiral fade leads to footage of the other big matches. Goldberg wrestles DDP, Brett fights Sting, and Hall meets Kevin Nash. Holy this thing is stacked. It is Halloween Havic.
That's a WrestleMania card right there.
Absolutely.
Or a Starrcade, I guess. Yeah. All right. So who do we got? Who do we got calling the commentary on this one?
Calling the action this time is Bobby Heenan, Tony Schiavone, and Mike Tenay.
Probably the best commentary team in WCW's history.
Yeah, 100%. This team was really, really good. Early Bischoff was not bad, but this is definitely the best iteration, I think, that WCW had for commentators, for sure. And we get to see the awesome Halloween Havic set with the big pumpkin.
Classic, yes,
yeah,
the pumpkin. A lot
so
of money
good.
spent on that. It's cool. Everybody says that they wish is that WWE would recreate that set. I mean, the fact that it's like an actual 3-dimensional set, not a screen or just some sort of backdrop or whatever. It's like that pumpkin is a big blow up pumpkin with the hands coming out of it. It's very cool.
It's so good. I really miss those special like backdrops and stuff like that. Like, I mean, the WWE back in the day, like you got Judgment Day, you got Backlash, you had all the different, Backlash had the hooks, Judgment Day had like the scaffolding, yes. Like all the different stuff like that. I really, really miss that. Fans, what was your favorite backdrop? Leave it in the comments. Love to hear it. You can win some merch.
Bish, you do it. You do it again. Appropriate sound effect.
Okay. Yeah, moving on with this pay-per-view. Starting off, we get an interview with Rick Steiner. Rick says the Hound is in the pound, and he's going to get down. He's there to teach Scott a lesson, but Buff Bagwell interrupts. He had a change of heart in recent weeks. Everyone is sick of Scott. Buff knows the NWO doesn't operate one-on-one. He offers his services as Rick's corner man. Rick doesn't trust him.
Yeah, I smell a swerve already. Go ahead.
yeah, it smells pretty potent.
Hold on a second, Bish. If you smell a swerve in the comments, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Give me a
hell yeah.
There you go.
I said give me a hell yeah.
All right, cut it. Good. All right. I like that.
All right. So, Buff and Rick, they shake hands. They are ready to rock and roll. They head down to the ring. Oh, sorry. They don't head down to the ring. They just prepare for the match.
Decide that they're going to, get cahoots there. So, what's the opening contest?
Opening contest is Raven and Jericho.
Okay, that's awesome.
I know.
Raven. This must be peak WCW because I love both of these. Is this babyface Jericho then? Like
It's heel versus heel, actually.
Okay, wow, yeah, because I was a Jerichoholic, which followed me deep into my adulthood and caused a lot of problems for me. But in 1998, it was great to be a Jerichoholic, and I loved Raven as well. I was a huge Raven fan. I wish I had photos of him, very similar hair back then. Actually, you know what? I don't want to derail this, but I want the people at home to know that even though I am wearing a bald cap, that if I take it off, I'm indeed bald underneath the cap as well. Don't patronize me, sound effect. Anyways, I used to have the Raven locks. My God, he was great. I'm going to put this on.
I used to have a mullet. Remember my mullet in grade 7? That thing was a thing of beauty. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could have that thing in a ponytail. It was so good.
To be young.
To be young. But speaking of being young, this match was happening. And, yeah, Raven and Jericho, awesome at the time. Two of my favorite, definitely, undercard characters in WCW at the time. Raven, at this point, he's been on a losing streak. No one informed him of this encounter ahead of time. Raven doesn't feel like wrestling, so he leaves. Jericho is not amused. He doesn't want to be there either, but his Jerichoholics need to see him wrestle. Jericho equals buy rates, butts in seats, and rock and roll. This doesn't impress Raven.
There is no storyline going into this. They were just thrown together. Raven.
They just thrown together randomly, okay. Yeah.
All right.
But this doesn't impress Raven, so Jericho calls Raven a loser and claims he can beat him in seconds. It draws Raven into the ring, where Jericho jumps him. Here we go. Ding, ding, ding. Right. Jericho whips Raven with his jacket and does a cocky pin. I love that. Come on, baby, pin.
The classic, yeah.
The classic, yeah. Then they tumble outside and fight with the ring steps. Raven drops Chris on them and vaults into a dropkick. It leads to fighting on the apron. Jericho nails his triangle jump dropkick before they fight at the railing. Back inside, Raven chokes Chris with his flannel shirt and uses a sleeper hold. Jericho breaks it and removes a turnbuckle pad. This is heel stuff all over. But Raven answers with a powerbomb and sends Jericho into the exposed metal. Next, Raven avoids a lion tamer, so Jericho throws a fit. I don't know if you remember that, but he used to go on these tantrums.
He would have
awesome
a tantrum,
stuff.
yes. And then Christian pretty much took that gimmick.
Yes, yeah. Good call. This would allow Raven to hit the even flow DDT, but it only gets a 2. Jericho retaliates with a low blow, which draws out Canyon. Chris spots Canyon and shoves Raven into him. Raven almost recovers for another even flow, but Jericho turns it into the lion tamer. Raven taps before Chris even sits down. Taps.
Wow. Oh,
yes.
So it's a real cowardly tap.
Yes, it's a very cowardly tap immediately. Yeah, cool, exactly.
Cool. I like that. That's a good
finish. Little nuances in this match are great. This is a hot and explosive opener. Great pace. A lot of fun. Loved it. This could probably be the match of the night, honestly.
Yeah, a lot of the time in WCW, the best match was the opening match.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, before we continue, do you see this here? I got my little championship belt going on there, yeah.
Cool. Where'd you get that?
That came with the Ringsider package.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. There you go. You're the belt collector now.
Right? Yeah, there you go. Oh, my. Next on the pay-per-view, we get Hogan and Bischoff, and they are cutting a promo. He says the NWOites worship him. Then Hogan brags about crucifying his own nephew, Horace. He left him lying in a pool of blood. Hogan proved you must be worthy to join the NWO. He went too far to make an example and draw the line for the Bozo Warrior. Everyone will know what Hogan is about after tonight. When you question Hollywood's power, you cross the line into his world. Then Hogan beats you up for life, brother.
Hulk Hogan never really got the for life thing.
No, he didn't.
The other guys were cool. Hall and Nash were cool, and Hogan was just doing his best to just hold on,
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about the whole Horace Hogan thing. Maybe I could be Horace Hogan as well for Halloween. I'm more of a Horace Hogan looking guy, I think. Right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Honestly, yeah. You get the Horace Hogan look down pretty good there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just some notes on this. Warrior abducted the disciple in a cloud of smoke. He then convinced the disciple to join the OWN. The disciple said he wouldn't carry Hogan's bags anymore. Hogan and the disciple disappeared and reappeared in smoke around the arena. Warrior even left a flaming symbol on Hogan's locker room wall. Then Warrior appeared in Hogan's mirror. The idea was only Hogan saw him, but in reality, everyone except Bischoff noticed it. Next, we had the Sting and Warrior versus Hart and Hogan encounter. The NWO knocked Warrior out of the ring before he could even do anything, and he disappeared in smoke. But Warrior chased everybody away eventually. Finally, Hogan sent Warrior a message. Hogan called it his own nephew Horace, telling him he loved him. Then Hogan beat Horace bloody with a chair. Hogan came to the rescue, so Giant chokeslammed him. Hogan spray painted the downed Warrior
here, Bish? Can I stop
and gave him a leg drop. Yes, you can.
I don't care about any of that. I don't care about Horace Hogan. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Moving on.
This is on Nitro, right? This is not the pay-per-view?
Is on Nitro, yeah, leading up to the show.
God. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You're doing,
speaking.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. You're doing a pay-per-view recap of the recap that happens on the pay-per-view from 1998? Is that what you just did?
No, I'm doing the recap of the storyline so people know what the story is leading into the match.
Okay, but did they do this at this point in the pay-per-view right now too?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm... Okay.
Yeah.
So you're covering the recaps in the pay-per-view recaps. Great.
Yes.
And this is the kind of stuff that you should leave a comment about down in the comment section. And tell Bishop whether or not you need to recap on these recaps.
No recap on recaps, but now that everybody has the background story, so we're all good, right?
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Yep,
No,
yep.
yeah. All right, but speaking of stuff that nobody gives a shit about, this next match, it's Wrath versus Ming. Wrath wins. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to skip.
Now, I do
right
have
over
something to
that.
say about this, actually, because is Wrath is Adam Bomb, right?
Correct.
And we have a little bit of a history with Adam Bomb. Adam Bomb is another one of these enemies of the show.
We will get into that another day.
Okay, fair enough. Yep. Good note.
Fans, if you want to hear a story about Adam Bomb, leave it in the comments. Next match, we have Disco Inferno versus the Juventud Guerrero.
Now, I bet you this is probably not a bad match.
It's actually not that bad. You're right. Yeah. It's pretty decent. Disco worked hard to meet the weight limit. This is kind of cool. It's the background story. But he exhausted himself and lost to Kidman. Then Juvi snitched on Disco before number one contender bout with Chavo. Disco, his weigh-in was sheet, apparently was all a lie. So Disco attacked Juvi, and we get this match.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now, it's kind of funny because that's something that Matt Hardy would do later on with the cruiserweight stuff, right? Try to make weight.
Yeah, and Crash Holly, and yeah, so.
Yeah,
it's
all right. All right.
Disco would get an early advantage, but Juvi flusters him with a monkey flip, head scissor takeover, and a rocker dropper. They did the spot twice because they botched it. Disco answers with a Manhattan drop and a chin lock. Juvi breaks free, sends Inferno to the floor with a slingshot crossbody. I know, right?
Juventud. And he's still doing pretty good, I think, these days. Look at that. He's like Michael Jackson-esque, really.
Actually, the Juice will be here in Edmonton in a month or so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sweet. You got tickets?
No.
All right, let's move on.
But we must move on. Yeah, no one wants to hear that story. Okay.
Oh, is there a story behind it?
Yeah, it's okay.
Cap is
Nobody wants to hear it, though. It's fine.
All right. I mean, I'm kind of interested in why aren't you going to it?
I just got booed.
I am not in control of that, okay? The sound effects guy is on his own is on his own mode right now. Yeah. He's getting high on his own supply. All right, whatever. You don't want to say why.
It's all good. Where the are we? Sorry. This is a train wreck this week. My God.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. This is entertaining. What?
Let's see. Disco. He does some things. Hot shot, swinging net breaker. He blocks a sunset flip and he does some dancing, but Hoovy flips on the dancing fool. Then Disco rebounds with a giant swing. It makes him dizzy, of course. So Disco falls on Hoovy's crotch. Hoovy recovers and catches Disco on the top rope, lands a super Frankensteiner, a flying wheel kick, and a wheelbarrow bulldog. Next, Hoovy looks for a reverse Hurricane Rana before Disco blocks it and nails a pile driver for the win. This had some nice spots and reversals, had some shaky moments. Disco has a nice pile driver. It was okay. But 10 minutes, it could have been probably a 5-minute match. It would have been a lot better.
I should also mention that the reason that we're even doing this pay-per-view this week, if the fans at home sense that maybe Bishop is phoning it in or is, I don't know what, I don't think you're phoning it in. You seem to think that the episode is a train wreck. It's because you didn't get to choose the episode this week, did you, Aaron?
No, that's right. This episode was actually voted in by you, our fans, on our YouTube channel. So thank you very much. Greatly appreciate the response.
This was not even the overwhelming choice, right? There was 4 choices, and it was neck and neck with what? The
very first Halloween Havoc, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
In 89.
Great response. We'll keep moving. We'll keep doing that moving forward, I'd imagine. But there you go. We're doing this for you guys, all right? We're dressing up like suckers. And we're doing no sound effect right now because unless you got serious music, we're doing this. Could you hum some serious music? Just like hum some. No. Anyways, I was just gonna say it's not fair for me to throw that around, but I do want some serious music moving forward because I do like to get sincere every now and then. We're doing this for you, the BWF Nation, and we're covering this event. And Aaron watched it, and he made these notes. He made the notes on the recap for his recap because he thought that you guys would want that's what you were looking for from us. Okay, so shout out Bishop. You're doing it for the fans. Please continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, doing it for the fans because nobody has time for 3.5 hours to watch a pay-per-view. So give us 1 hour of your time. It's much more entertaining. Trust me.
Nice.
Yes. Plus you can win free stuff. Next on the pay-per-view, Alex Wright versus Fit Finlay.
All right. I mean, this sounds pretty good too. I was an Alex Wright fan. Fit Finlay at the time probably was not a big fan. He's gone on to do some good stuff. A lot of people say that he is the reason why women's wrestling is better than what it used to be. He was interesting mixed mash of styles here. Is there any kind of European slant in this, but with Alex Wright being from Germany and Fit Finlay being from Ireland?
Actually, there is a really interesting backstory to this match. Alex Wright, he's just going on a rampage, not liking anybody, but Fit Finlay actually ended the career of Alex Wright's father. So this is Alex Wright going for revenge.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. This is actually really, as you would figure it would be, it's a very European match. They trade takedowns and uppercuts. Alex keeps dancing. I loved his dances. Alex,
it's
awesome,
weird,
man.
Hey, because I really don't like Disco Inferno for his dancing, but I enjoy
Alex Wright. Yeah.
No, there's no
Alex
rhyme or
is
reason.
so good. No, I know, right? Yeah, Disco Inferno sucks, but Alex Wright was awesome. Mm-hmm. Finlay fires back with some more of his own uppercuts and forearms. When Fit ducks, Alex yanks him to the mat. A crossbody follows, but Wright misses a missile dropkick. Finley waits for Alex to rise and charges at him. Wright moves. Fit crashes into the corner, but it opens the door for Wright's neckbreaker and a pin. Honestly, this was kind of dull and uneventful, but the action was okay. They kept it short and hard-hitting, but the crowd did not give a shit.
I was going to ask, I mean, maybe this is the type of match that would be more appreciated in today's day and age, but this doesn't sound like an Attitude Era Monday Night Wars kind of match.
No, just a 5-minute squash, pretty much. It was, I don't know. You kind of expected more of these guys, honestly. But
is this the end of the feud, or would it continue on after this?
Fans, if you know the answer to that question, please leave it in the comments. Did this feud continue? Because I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend like I do.
I don't know.
Fans, there you go.
Thank you.
Help us out,
setting you
fans.
up for that one, too. All right, go ahead.
I know you did. Next, we are going to get Saturn versus Lodi. At this point, Saturn convinced the flock to walk away when Raven begged them to return. Everybody except Lodi accepted it. Lodi felt lost without Raven. Lodi would interrupt Fox members' matches campaigning for his cause, but they all ignored him. Lodi accused Saturn of ruining his life, so here we are.
This is peak Saturn.
Peak Saturn, yes.
He's
absolutely.
he was interesting around this time. He did not retain that aura when he moved to the WWF at all, but he had a cool look going on here, and I was already a fan of the flock, so I was down with whatever storylines were going on. I didn't realize at the time, like there was a guy Sick Boy, right? And he was Sick Boy because he was sick from heroin withdrawal. Right?
Oh, is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah. Like, I mean, Billy Kidman looked like he had heroin stuff going on. Like it was, it went over my head now, but you look at the flock in today's day and age, like looking back at what they were at their peak. And I think there was like heroin chic, they would call it, vibes going on in that group.
Crazy. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, this is what we do here.
There you go. In this match, it's not very long. It's quick, thank God. Lodi stalls and annoys Saturn. Lodi escapes a hammerlock. He chases a ring attendant who took his signs. When Lodi returns, Saturn nails a face crusher and sweeps the leg. Lodi bails again and raises his Texas sign. Saturn has had enough. He grabs Lodi. Oh, because he loves Texas, by the way. Lodi loves Texas. That's what the sign said.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. Lodi, he was grabbed by the hair. He got suplexed back inside. Perry followed with some chops, kicks, Irish whips. Lodi tries to leave again, but Saturn retrieves him. Lodi lures Saturn into the ring for an attack. It's ineffective. Saturn lands, suplexes, and a Falcon Arrow. Finish it with a Death Valley driver. Oh, my God. So bad. 3 minutes and 50 seconds of pure unadulterated shit that I'll never get back ever again. So this is the reason why you watch us, so you don't have to watch that.
Yeah. I mean, you could have shaved off a couple of seconds of that too, actually.
I know, I could have. I know. God. It's hard for me to speak it sometimes. But,
yes.
But next we are going to get that Kidman versus Disco Inferno match. Let's see.
Disco
Kidman.
Inferno's doing double time on this paper.
Double time, yeah.
So this is probably the peak of Disco Inferno's career as well. Then they let him wrestle 2 times in a night.
Disco did get some good ratings at the time, so yeah, they were giving him a small push. It didn't last very long because, well, we'll talk about it. But after this pay-per-view, things really started to go south for WCW.
Right? Yes.
Disco would capitalize Kidman missing a flying splash. He would nail some strikes, slams, suplexes, and would dance some more. The hesitation makes him miss a diving elbow. This allows Kidman to land a sky high and a power slam. However, Disco nails a pile driver after 2 tries, but he's too tired to cover and only gets a 2.
It's because it's his second match of the night.
Second match of the night and his conditioning.
Yeah,
exactly. Disco would counter a bulldog into a neck breaker, land a gourd buster. Paul Driver attempt follows, but Disco pauses to do the Macarena. When Disco does the move, Kidman turns it into a face buster.
I cringe 20 some odd years later. Wow. Okay.
Shooting star press for the victory for Kidman.
And there you go.
There you go. Kidman, this would not be peak Kidman, but this would be the beginning of Kidman's big push as well. So a lot of WCW is peaking around this time for sure.
We're watching them peak right in front of our eyes right now.
Right in front of our very eyes. Next, we have a tag team match between Rick Steiner and Buff Bagwell versus the Giant and Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner is allowed to join the Giant as a tag team partner because it's NWO rules, and they're going to defend the tag team championships. Scott Hall's the champion, by the way. At this point,
Scott Hall's the tag team champion.
Yeah.
But so they get to switch it all over.
They're switching.
As we're seeing their peak, we're also seeing the shakiness of what happens with the WCW storyline, where there's really no rules at all. NWO rules means there are no rules, but not in a good way. In a confusing way where nothing really matters.
No, nothing makes sense. Nothing matters. It's all convoluted. Oh, my goodness. Let's just start with some notes of the storyline, I guess. I'll try to get through it as quick as I can.
You son of a...
No, you don't want me to. Let's just go into the match then. The Giant.
You have to do another recap on a recap here.
I was going to explain Judy Bagwell's involvement, but who gives a shit,
Is
honestly.
she involved with this? Does
Yes.
this lead to the Judy Bagwell on a pole match?
It does, actually, yes. It does.
I mean... Look.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just get to the match then, yeah. Giant controls Rick with strikes, atomic drop, and a back suplex. Scott tags once Rick is down, kicking and punching his brother before sending him outside for the Giant's attack. Buff stops it and demands a tag. Bagwell gets it, and shocker, he kicks Rick Steiner in the balls.
That son of a man. That son of a
He laughs and celebrates with Scotty before leaving. Scott and the Giant toy with Rick. They choke and mock him. The Giant distracts the ref while Scott attacks Rick. Giant even lifts Rick from a pin to do more damage. When Rick shows life, Scott nails another low blow and tags the Giant. He then holds his brother while Giant takes forever to climb. Once he's ready, Giant does a missile drop kick, but he hits Scott instead. Rick capitalizes and Steiner lines and finishes the Giant with a flying bulldog. Rick is the new tag team champion.
Nice. Good swerve. Good swerve. That's a double swerve.
Guess who he picks as his tag team champion partner?
Is it Buff?
It's Judy Bagwell.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right.
Yeah,
that makes
it's all that
sense.
stuff leading to the Judy Bagwell and pole match. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good move, actually.
Not bad, right? So after that tag team match happened, we get a one-on-one between Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner, brother versus brother.
Oh, my God.
I know. I could tell you how all this happened with J.J. Dillon making the match and all that shit, but again, nobody cares.
No, why are they keeping this segment of all segments going long? Like, they just had the tag match and they go directly into a one-on-one match?
Yeah, they had this tied in with Chucky. So what was going on?
No.
No, you don't want to.
No, okay. I know. Everybody knows about this Chucky stuff. It is nonsense. Wow. My opinion of WCW is going down with every... This is a wild ride for me because I was like, wow, this is peak WCW, but this is in a negative way peak WCW. The Chucky stuff is just out. I mean, you want to talk about how the Ultimate Warrior being in the mirror of Hulk Hogan was like taking people out of it. How is Chucky the doll, who is in a feud with the now tag team champion Rick Steiner, how does that make any sense? That's so just lame.
It's so stupid. Chucky was there obviously to promote his movie, and Scott Steiner was in the movie, or he wanted to recruit Scott Steiner or something like that for the movie, and he wanted Rick to leave him alone. So, which of course, sets up Rick versus Scott. It's so stupid. Like, oh my God. But anyway, to get to the match, I'm going to skip forward.
And that's the worst thing about it is that if Chucky was coming around, Chucky only ever comes around when he's promoting one of his movies. He never shows up unless he got something to promote, and you know that he's just phoning it in. He's not there. He doesn't like pro wrestling, I don't think.
No, he's just there for himself. Selfish Chucky. But to get to the end of the match, a man in a Bill Clinton mask jumps the rail. Stevie Ray hands him a slapjack, and the man clocks Rick and the ref. The man unmasks to reveal Boff Bagwell. Wow. Did I even say more?
Yeah.
Holy crap. But next is something good. Next we have the Outsiders, Kevin Nash versus Scott Hall, in a very personal match. They recap the history of the tag team. Basically, Hall is being a drunkard.
Yes, this is last call Scott Hall era.
Last call Scott Hall era, yeah. And Kevin Nash misses his friend, and he wants to beat some sense into him.
That's what friends do.
That's what friends do, of course.
When your friend has a debilitating substance abuse problem, you get through to him by beating him up on pay-per-view. So how's that work out? How's that match? I think I remember this one, actually.
Yeah, he would Scott Hall. He would arrive for his bout with a drink in hand, stumbles through his entrance. Kevin Nash shakes his head at Hall when he sees him, but Hall throws the drink in Kevin's eyes and attacks him.
Ooh,
Scott comes alive. Swerve. All signs of drunkenness are gone.
Nice.
Yes.
That's right.
Hall, he would attack Nash with a microphone and a cable. The medics, they check on the blinded Nash while Hall mocks him. Scott asks Kevin how it feels to see through foggy eyes. He tells him to get lost because he's done listening to Nash. But Kevin enters the ring. He lets Hall punch him and dares him to bring it. Then Kevin Nash, he would hit his side slam. They exchange strikes on their knees before Nash attempts a jackknife. Hall avoids it and regroups. He gets one last rally, but Nash stops it. Kevin batters Hall in the corner with elbows and knees. He asks Hall if he wants another drink. Hall can barely stand, so Kevin knocks him down with a big boot. He drops the straps, performs two jackknives.
He doesn't have any other moves left.
No, right?
Jackknife has to be coming.
He's only got 3 or 4 moves.
Yeah.
Nash calls it a double. Jesus. Then he walks away. It confused the ref, but he counts Nash out.
Win's a win, buddy. A win is a win. And that is another one for the good guys. Scott Hall, epic, classic, usual W.
This is definitely a story-driven match, not your 5-star classic, but I really enjoyed it. I love the storytelling. I love the performances. I even like the finish. It fits the story. You know, he only wanted to beat some sense into his friend. He did not care about winning. So, there you go.
It's nice. All right.
Next one. A match that I've always wanted to see at the time, but I was disappointed with. Will that be the same 20 years later? Let's find out. This is Bret Hart, the U.S. champion, versus Sting. Wolfpack Sting.
Nice. Okay. And what is going on with Bret at this point? I mean, sometimes I do. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That is Sting with the goatee.
Yeah, the goatee Wolfpack Sting. Yeah.
So is Bret NWO heel at this point?
He is NWO heel. He had everybody fooled by telling Piper and Sting and everybody that he had remorse for siding with Hogan when he first joined WCW. But of course, that all ended up being a ruse, and NWO would jump everybody. And Bret would be leading the charge. I mean, it's just the same
stuff.
Week,
okay,
you know.
So Bret's bad. Doesn't make any sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Bret's bad. Doesn't make sense. The match itself, Bret is stalling. Sting is chasing. Sting throws strikes and stomps Bret's hands, but Bret answers with an eye rake, a rope rake, and a DDT. Yeah, it's bad. Bret focuses on Sting's back with headbutts and punches. Sting almost secures the deathlock after a missed dropkick, but Bret grabs a rope. Next, Brett fakes a knee injury and fetches a weapon. Sting takes it away, but Brett does a low blow in the confusion. It leads to fighting at the apron. Sting elbows the ref by mistake. Brett even leg drops the ref. Then Sting gives Brett a superplex onto him. Afterwards, Sting lands a Stinger Splash, but he overshoots. Sting's head strikes the post. With Sting out, Brett grabs a baseball bat, hits him multiple times. He then wakes the ref and puts Sting in the sharpshooter. The referee sees Sting is out cold, and that's it. Rings the bell.
Calls the match.
So
it seems like you're still disappointed. You don't like it.
Yeah, no, it was not what I expected at all. It just wasn't the match I wanted. It was not the match I wanted between Sting and Brett. I don't know. I wanted anything but that, basically.
Yeah. So what was the main issue? Is it that Brett was just doing too much heel stuff? It sounds like there's a lot of weapons and ref bumps and schmaz.
Yeah, just a lot of schmaz, overbooking. I mean, I want to see a technical masterpiece between these two. You know, I just don't want to see 5 baseball bat shots, ref bumps. No, nothing makes sense. I mean, yeah, just leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Speaking of which, yes, we're on to the main event.
We are not at the main event. The main event is actually Goldberg and Diamond Dallas Page.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. That's surprising that Hogan would allow this to happen. But there you go.
This match, yeah. If anybody's ever watched this, you know how bad it is. If you've never watched it before, don't bother. Here we go. The first half of the match just comprises of arm ringers, a long test of strength, and a crisscross. They're trying to recreate WrestleMania 6, and it's not happening.
Yeah, that was what I was just going to say. This sounds a lot like what their Mania 6 match was good, was enjoyable. So what is it? Is it the fact that is it because Hogan's heel now? Is it because they're just trying to recapture something that's already done? Why do you see that this isn't working immediately?
Both of these men were not young chickens, spring chickens at WrestleMania 6. They're definitely not spring chickens 8 years later. Age has caught up. Warrior, he was not that great in the ring to begin with, but he's really, really bad now. Hogan, he can't, I don't know. His WCW main event run, Hogan was just going through the motions, it seemed.
Yeah.
And the wrestlers weren't into it. I think the fans, they kind of sensed what was going to happen, that there's going to be something stupid happening where Hogan was going to win. I mean, and said the action was just so bad. It was.
So did it start off hot at all? Were the crowds excited at the beginning and they lost them, or were they just never really into it from the start?
They gave it a medium reaction to Warrior when he came out, but I mean it just wasn't very good. They were immediately within the first 2 or 3 minutes they were tuned out and not having it, booing even.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
okay.
Just not good.
Yeah,
but yeah, we get a ref bump. Hogan calls for the Giant. Giant comes down, and he kicks Hogan by mistake. Warrior also fends off Stevie Ray and Vincent.
Ugh.
Hogan and Warrior, they take turns using the weight belt on each other. Yeah. Nick Patrick recovers and admonishes both men.
Now, see, there you go. That weight belt spot, they reused it in the Rock match, and it went over amazing. That was one of the biggest parts of that Mania 18 match was when Rocky took Hogan's weight belt and used it against him. The crowd couldn't believe it.
No.
But not here, hey?
Not here, no. Yeah. Fans were not having it. And while Nick Patrick was arguing with the Warrior, Hogan fumbles with a flash paper and a lighter. He attempts a fireball, but it explodes in his hand. It singes Hogan's own eyebrows. Ugh. Warrior answers with a flying axe handle.
Yeah.
Hogan hits in the low blow. This is so bad. He misses a leg drop as Horace Hogan arrives. Bischoff just distracts Nick Patrick.
Here we go.
Who would have thought? Thank God, Horace Hogan.
Yeah.
Horace Hogan is entering the ring. Everyone thinks he's there for Hogan, but of course he clocks the Warrior instead with a steel chair.
Wow.
Hogan covers for the win. The worst match in wrestling history. I think this match is the lowest Meltzer rated match in history.
And do you agree? Do you think this is the
agree.
worst match? This is the worst match in wrestling history. Like main event, with
Main event, yeah.
People were buying this. Were buying the pay-per-view to see this thing. Yeah.
Personally, I think the only match worse than this, the one that I've ever seen, is the Giant versus Lex Luger on a Nitro. But as far as main event goes between the big companies, this is definitely the biggest pile of shit that has ever been put on air.
Now, hold on a second. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. Are you talking about the Luger Giant match where the whole thing is built around Luger getting Giant up for a torture rack?
Possibly. I just remember the Giant going around hitting Luger in the back and Luger selling it really, really bad, and they're just walking around the ring the whole time. Yeah, I just remember that being the complete drizzling shits. But yeah,
cool. Okay, no argument for me.
This show, we got to go through the good, the bad, and the extremely ugly. And unfortunately, this week, this pay-per-view is extremely ugly.
But we aren't done yet. We still got the main event.
No, you got to stick around for more. Sweet. The one good thing about this pay-per-view is this match, this main event, Goldberg versus Diamond Dallas Page. In my opinion, this is definitely Goldberg's best match ever with any opponent. This match was great.
And it's a longer one, too. Maybe a little bit too long.
Maybe a little bit too long, indeed. We will get to that. The match starts by Goldberg shoving DDP. Then they tumble out of the ring on an aggressive lockup. That looked great. They were both locked up and they just flip. Oh, no, it was cool. You got to watch that. Go back and watch this match. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's the one thing you do have to go back and watch is this match. It's so good. They're locked up, right? They're locked up, and then they go through the ring ropes, and it looked brutal. They look like they legit got hurt right from the get-go. But Goldberg, he fires back with suplexes and another cross arm breaker.
There's got to be a way for us to make money off of this concept, which is we're doing reviews, and you say you can't describe what's going on and suggest people go watch the pay-per-view.
Tell you what, in post we'll have a clip of that. There we go.
What?
Oh man, I hated that version of Austin. Just flashbacks. All right, sorry. So don't go watch the match. They are locked up. It's a crazy thing. They fall
through the ring. Shown here.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Goldberg, he misses a corner charge and hits the ring post. DDP capitalizes with a flying clothesline and a DDT. Goldberg scores a spear, but his shoulder hurts. When he attempts the jackhammer, DDP turns it into the diamond cutter.
Oh. Nobody
cool
kicks
spot.
out of that.
No. That's a really cool spot. He's slow to cover, and Goldberg kicks at it too. DDP hits a suplex, but Goldberg reverses the jackhammer for the pin. This is a great match, but as we said, it ran too long. The WCW, Eric Bischoff, did not inform the pay-per-view companies that they're going to be running this a little bit long, and they had stupid stuff in there like Nitro Girls segments and those stupid matches that really didn't have nothing to do with anything.
Yes,
they could have cut that.
There's 2 Disco Inferno matches, and
Right.
they have this second Steiner match too.
Right? I mean, like a couple double duties, Nitro Girls. They didn't need any of that stuff, and the fans, they only saw maybe half of the match. It cut halfway through, and because of that, fans were outraged. I
would have been very, very upset about that.
Yeah.
So what did they do?
So to try to cover their tracks, they're like, okay, well, the next night on Nitro, we'll just show the whole main event in its entirety for free. and that pissed off the fans who paid for the pay-per-view even more because they just paid $60 for a pay-per-view, and now you're giving it for free the next night. So it caused an uproar. They offered refunds. It was really bad, and the ratings literally after this night start to decline. They would go back. It would be a little bit of a roller coaster, but it was this night where they start to go down. And by the time the finger poke of doom happens in February, it's over.
It's over.
Done.
Well, there you go. So, I mean, pretty momentous pay-per-view, and if anything, a good sort of snapshot of everything that is going wrong with WCW at this point, even though that they're technically on top as of now, right?
Heading into this pay-per-view, everything was clicking, everything was going good, and then just for whatever reason, this pay-per-view just is like they hit a wall. Yeah. And just after this, it was done. They're done.
Yeah, I feel like my experience tonight of you going through it was probably what was every fan's thing. It was like, oh my God, this is all awesome stuff, and then it's just disappointing.
Big disappointment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So, pay-per-view, 2 thumbs down, but the main event, Goldberg and DDP, absolutely great. The only thing on this pay-per-view worth going back to watch. There you have it. Halloween Havic 98.
There you go. Like, subscribe, comment. What are we going to do next? What are we going to do next?
I don't know.
I wasn't actually even queuing up for that, but yes, good. I don't know. Whatever. We'll fix that in post.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Well, okay. That's it. See ya.
Wrestling fans, subscribe to this amazing channel by clicking on the bell below. And when you're done watching this, go ahead and like it. If you leave a comment, you can win a free t-shirt. Then do yourself a favor and go look at our amazing Patreon page for free with the 7-day trial. You'll see first-person experiences from a multitude of wrestling events over the past 20 years, along with videos that any action figure collector would love to see. Finally, you can catch up on all of our previous episodes at BWFpodcast.com.